Hi. Well, it's another beautiful day, and today I want to talk about time. Now, we all think of time as the past and the future. That's pretty much how we look at it. And we think that everything sort of like comes from everything else. Like, for instance, you think that you are the result of being born. And that's what you think. You think that you were a baby, that you were born, and that's where you came from. Okay? And, you know, whether that's true or not, of course it is. You were a baby and you were born. But that's not where you came from. Okay? And then you think, well, I was a baby and then I was a boy or a girl. And so that was part of me. And then I was a teenager. And then I was an adult. And that's all me. Which is an illusion. It wasn't you. You are a discrete person now. Now is the only time when you are you. Okay? I know that sounds a little bit weird, but this illusion of thinking that everything is connected, that you of the past is you now, and will be you of the future, is an illusion because it's just not so. Okay? The soul, which is what you are, doesn't exist in time. The soul is timeless. There is no past, there is no future. There is only now. That is what it is. If we continue to believe that there is a past and a future, then we're going to be unhappy. That's just the way it is. I don't want it to be that way, but that's the nature of life. Now, how do we get out of this sort of trap? By accepting. And what that is realizing that you are not part of the past. And the past is not part of you. I mean, we all say we don't want to live in the past, right? But that's exactly what we're doing. We're living in the past because we're dragging the past with us into the future. Okay? By holding on to all these things from the past and we think these things make us who we are, but they don't. Okay? Like experiences, emotions, things that happened to you, things that you did to others, so on and so forth, all the stuff that's gone on in your life. You think that's you. Those are memories in your head, and they're constantly playing each other over and over again. Okay? So that's what that's about. And that's what we think. Because we've been taught to think that. We've been programmed to think that. We've been conditioned to think that. But that's not the way it is. Now, the way it really is that there's only now. The past does not exist, and the future does not exist. Everything that happened in the past happened now. Everything that'll happen in the future happens now. The problem is with words. Okay? We label everything. Okay? And that makes it what we think it is. But it's not that. Now, I know it's hard to try and understand what all this means. It means in order to be free, you have to let the past go. You have to stop dragging it after you into the future. Okay? And what we do is, that's exactly what we do. We drag it along with us. Okay? All the old baggage. It comes with us. What happened to you as a child? Oh, and you go see your therapist and you talk about, being whatever as a child, and so on and so forth. And in addition to that, you have all these attachments from the past that you cling to. Like, I won the school ribbon for best whatever. Or whatever it was. And we're proud of that. We're proud of our accomplishments. Okay? And we carry those accomplishments into the future. But those accomplishments are part of the past, which doesn't exist. And so that becomes a burden. I know it doesn't seem like, oh, I won an Oscar in 1952 or whatever, and now that's all I care about, my Oscar. Okay? Or maybe it was the Nobel Prize. Or maybe it was something else that you won. But by clinging on to these things of the past, we just make ourselves unhappy. That's it. The only unhappiness that you have is what is created by your mind. It's not created by outward stuff. It's not created by circumstances. It's all happening in your mind. And if you spend your life with what's going on in your mind, then you're going to be unhappy. Okay? And we believe what our mind says. Isn't it crazy? Yeah, we do. We believe it so much. Okay? We don't think our mind can lie to us. But it can. And it does. So, in order to be free of it, okay? And we can call it an ego. We can say it's your mind. We can say whatever you want. You have to let go of the stuff of the past, because the stuff of the past is no longer you. That you that won the trophy for whatever, bowling, okay, or whatever it was, isn't you anymore. It hasn't been you for years, okay? But you hold on to that trophy. You put it in your trophy room along with all your other accomplishments, right? And you go in there every once in a while and you look at it and you remember the memory. That's what you do, okay? And what that does is it keeps you trapped to those accomplishments. And I don't want anyone to be trapped, but that's just the way the world is. So, in order to be free of all these things, we have to let them go. We have to let go of our attachments to things that happened in the past. Whether those things were good or bad, we are trapped by them. Okay? And the illusion that everything that you did was you, is you, okay, is only reinforcing that trap. That's just the way it is. We have memories, and life seems to be continuing on from beginning to end, and so on and so forth. And therefore, when I was a baby, that's me. Okay? Or when I was a child, that's me. And we assume that that's the case because that's what we've been told. That's what we've been programmed to believe. And so, in order to free ourselves of that, we have to let it go. And we do that by accepting that it wasn't you. Now, I know that's hard. Okay? To look at a memory and say, it wasn't me. Every day when you get up from your sleep, okay, it's a different you. It's not the same you as yesterday. When you turn this video on, you were you. Now, though, you've been listening to it for, 10 minutes, you're a different person now. It's not the same you that turned the thing on. I know this is hard to accept. It's hard to really think of yourself as not being contiguous with everything you experienced. But that is the way it is. Because just because you've experienced something doesn't make it you. Okay? For instance, you experience sadness, and then you say, I'm sad. I'm possessing of this sadness. This sadness is me. Right? Yeah, that's what you're doing. Which is fine if that's what you want to do and be sad, go ahead. But you could also say, sadness is occurring, but it has absolutely nothing to do with me. Okay? These words are very tricky, and we say these things to ourselves all the time, trying to possess the world. Okay? Trying to possess land and houses and cars and money and everything else. But these possessions drag us down. And we possess the past too. Okay? And that means you're dragging it into the future. Okay? And, you can't let go of things that happened in the past. You can't let go of them because of whatever. Okay? Because you have an attachment to what happened. Even though what happened was bad, you're still attached to it. And as long as you continue to think it was you, which it wasn't, number one, you weren't thinking the thoughts. Number two, you were not making the decisions. Number three, this is not your body. Obviously, this isn't your body, but your body isn't your body. Okay? It is a vehicle. And we identify with our body as being us. Okay? And that's part of the whole trap of being you. Okay? I know this is hard to understand, but try and realize that you aren't the one who did the thing you feel bad about doing. Okay? We all have things we feel bad about doing, or things that we didn't do that we feel bad about not doing, and so on and so forth. And those bad feelings just keep echoing through us. Okay? Regret forms in our brains. And unhappiness goes along with that. But it wasn't you. Yes, you have to take responsibility for what you did. Okay? But the you now is not the same person as the you then. That person is gone. Every day when you wake up, you are a new person. You think, oh, I'm the same person that went to bed. Because that's just what we think. But it's not true. Look, the fact of the matter is that you are everything. Everything that exists, that's alive in this world is you. Okay? We restrict ourselves to these bodies and say, this is me. That's what we do. Okay? But that's not you. Because you are everything. You are the universe. And if you believe that you're just this body and this person in the body, and that you ends at your skin, which is what everyone believes, okay, then you're missing out. You're missing out on everything that is you. And our egos make this happen more. They perpetuate it. Okay? And that's what they do. So that we think everything is fine. Therefore, there's no reason to change anything. That's the way it is. It's like saying that an acorn is a tree. Okay? Yeah, if you plant an acorn in the ground, then a seedling will grow. But that seedling is not the acorn. And the seedling will turn into a sapling, but that sapling is not the seedling. And the sapling will turn into a tree, but that tree is not the sapling or the seedling or the acorn. That's what is. And we continue to believe that you were a baby, and you were a child, and you were a teenager, and you were an adult, and so on and so forth, and that you think you're contiguous with all of that because you have memories of most of it, okay? It's an illusion. The wool has been drawn over your eyes in order to keep you down. The ego loves that because it knows that it can use it. It can use it to control you. It can make everything seem the way that it wants it to seem. Okay? And it'll interpret everything it sees as what it wants. And you think that's you. Look, I know this is all hard stuff to sort of understand or to even know that it's possible to do, but it is possible to do. Okay? Start with something small. Some tiny piece of your past that you're holding on to. You're clinging on to that tiny piece of your past. You're clinging on to it, and that clinging causes unhappiness. Okay? Maybe it was a bad time you had. Maybe it was a good time. It doesn't matter because it's still clinging. Just try and accept that when your uncle gave you a fire truck when you were a baby, and you remember that, okay? And you think that's you. It wasn't you. It's not you. All these things that make us unhappy, okay, are products of our own minds. Because your ego wants you to be great. And if it can't make you great, then it's going to make you unhappy. That's the way the world is. I mean, I've had that in my life plenty. Okay? And I didn't like it. And I suffered under it for years and years and years. There's no reason for you to suffer under it for years and years and years. Simply let go by accepting it's not you. No matter how much you want it to be you, it's not. Obviously, I can't make you accept anything or make you do anything, okay? This is all on you. You have to make the decision to let it go. That one tiny thing. Maybe you were 3 and your school friend knocked you down and you hurt your knee, okay? And every once in a while you think about it and you rub your knee and you think, oh, that hurt. Whatever it is. Okay? You're holding on to that. You're clinging to that memory. And you're clinging to the way that memory made you feel. Okay? And that is making you unhappy. Realize that that isn't you. That little boy or girl isn't who you are. And that's all you have to do to escape the illusion of time. I know that's hard. And it takes work to realize who you are because you need to take some time with God. You need to get into the now and feel God's presence in your life. Okay? By whatever means. And realize that you are not the person. Yes, you have a person that's part of you. But you are really the soul or the consciousness. And as long as you are clinging to the personhood, which you are, okay, then you are going to suffer. And that's just the way it is. When you are living your life and you have something bad happen to you, then you feel bad. Whatever it is, okay? And that affects you. It makes you feel unhappy, okay? And then at the same time as you're feeling unhappy, you are beginning to cling to what happened, okay? And you're making it a part of who you think you are. And by doing that, you're going to be unhappy about it, okay? This is the nature of the human self, okay? We make all these things a part of us because the ego wants more. It wants more and more and more, and it gets it through controlling you to make these things a part of you. I mean, I know it's hard to sort of see this, but as long as you're holding on to these things that happened in the past and that they are controlling the way you see now, because that's what they're doing, okay? Then you're not going to be able to be free. And being free is what it's all about, okay? Don't you want to have freedom instead of be constrained? Yes, of course you do. I mean, everybody talks about freedom in this country. And actually, this country is one of the least free ones in the world. We have more prisoners than anybody. But freedom isn't about what's going on out here. It's about what's happening in here. And all these things which you are clinging to, okay, are making you feel bad about yourself and about everyone else too. And the way to free yourself from that bad feeling is to recognize who you really are. And who you really are is a soul or consciousness. And believe me, nothing happened to consciousness. Nothing happened to it. Whatever may have happened to your body or your mind, nothing happened to your consciousness. Okay? That's the way it is. You can see that now, can't you? That this idea of thinking that something happened to you is just ridiculous, because your consciousness or your soul, whichever particular way you want to believe, has been unaltered by your life. Okay, it's still there. It's still as good as it ever was. Okay? We put all this stuff in front of the consciousness, like ideas and preferences and thoughts and so on and so forth. But it's still there behind it all. And as long as we allow these things like ideas and thoughts to hold reign over us, which we do because we cling to them. You think you have a good idea, you think it's right, you think it's correct, okay? And you hold on to it. And the longer you hold on to it, the firmer the grip it becomes upon you. You think you're holding on to it, but it's holding on to you. Okay? That's what's happening. And as it does, it makes you less and less free. Okay? Freedom comes from not being attached to the past. Freedom comes from not being attached to emotions. Freedom comes from not being attached to anything. Like they said in Star Wars, attachment leads to the dark side. So we just have to stop. Well, we can't stop because the ego is the one in charge. But as long as we continue thinking of ourselves as this continuous being who started in 19 whatever and is now continuing, then we're going to be trapped. So we have to break out of that idea. I know it's hard to break out of it because it's very ingrained in who we think we are. Okay? But it has to be done if you want freedom. Anyway, all this I'm saying to you is just simply a way of trying to get free. A way of trying to accept what is. If you can accept that you are not a continuous being starting from birth to death, okay? That's what you think you are. That you are, in fact, not affected by anything that happened in life because you are consciousness. No matter what happens in life, your consciousness is unaffected. You can still see, you can still hear, you can still taste, you can still touch. No matter what, that's what's going on because your consciousness is there. This person that you think you are, yes, we have a veneer of personhood on us. Yes, that's true. I have a name. Okay. And a history and all that stuff, but I don't. It doesn't matter. Okay? So, you have to try, or you don't have to do anything, but you can try to let little tiny bits of yourself go. Okay? One thing, just one thing at a time. Okay? When you hit your knee, or when you were given a prize for singing, or whatever it is, one moment in your past, or what you think is your past, because it's not really your past at all, it's the past of somebody else who thought they were you. Okay? That's what it was. Okay? And so that's what we have to do. Just pick one thing. Maybe it's a bad memory. Maybe it's a good memory. And allow it to go. Okay? By accepting that that wasn't you. I know it's hard to accept. I know it's very difficult to accept things. But that's what we have to do. And we don't have to do anything. You can continue living as you are and be unhappy, by all means. But what you need to do is be free, don't you? Now, of course, that's what you need and you want to do. And so we have to accept that this person that was raped in 1989 isn't you. It wasn't you. It's not you. It never was you. Because you are a completely different new person. Okay? From that person. I know it's really confusing to say that you're a different person from the person in the past, but that's just the way it is. It's all very confusing because it's meant to be that way. Because the thing that set it up is the ego, and it's trying to confuse you, if it can. That's just the way it is. And so these things that are part of you, because the ego has made them a part of you, have to be let go. And the way to let them go is to accept that it wasn't you. I once read a book. It was a sci-fi book. I like sci-fi. And it was about this scientist who figured out a way to do something. And he was able to go back into the past and find a particular person because he was able to see these long pink snakes and black snakes and brown snakes, which were simply the people going forward or backward in time. Okay? But it looked to him like they were snakes, but they weren't. They were people. But they were so closely joined together by each second that it just was like and appeared to be snake-like. And if we continue to think that we are the person that was born, and that we are the person that skinned their knee, that we are the person that was raped, okay, then we are going to continue to be unhappy. Just try and let one thing go. One thing at a time. Try and realize that whatever happened to you, it wasn't you. Because you are consciousness. You are not that person. Yes, you have a name and a body and so on and so forth, but that wasn't you. That was a completely different set of chemicals and elements. Okay? You're a now new set of chemicals and elements, right? That's what scientists say anyway. Every 7 years, every cell in our body gets replaced. So you could say that person 7 years ago wasn't you because they're physically, chemically not you anymore. That's what science has to say. Okay? Just accept that you are not the person that did the thing or didn't do the thing or had the thing happen to them in the past. And that thing will not be significant anymore. It won't be something you think about or worry about anymore, or worry about it happening again. Because what happens is when these bad things happen to you, there's fear that it's going to happen again. And that rules your life. Well, I guess that's enough about this particular topic. I love you all because you're me, because we're one thing, and that thing is God. And if you can say, oh, well, there is no such thing as God, well, then one thing we are is consciousness. We are the conscious collective, and there is a universal conscious collective, and we all belong to that, because that is who we are. And you can't separate yourself out from any part of that consciousness collective, even if it's the consciousness of a whale or a dolphin. Okay? It may not be as conscious as you think you are, but it's still consciousness. And that whale or that dolphin, and I use those because they say that they're conscious, okay, is you. It's all you. The tree is you. You cannot separate yourself from the tree because the tree has a soul. And you have a soul because you are a life form, and the tree is a life form. Well, I guess I'll let you go. Have a great life and a great day.